Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of BrandVision Marketing's Brand Boost. And I'm going to start off this segment on Brand Boost with a confession. Big sports fan here. Love my Yankees. Love Tennessee. Season tickets for football, basketball for years. So big sports fan. And I, in a minute, am going to talk about sane and reasonable sports fans. And I'm probably going to come across as hypocritical because I am neither. I haven't watched a live sporting event unless I've been there for my team in probably 2019. The Sweet 16 in 2019 was when I basically gave up watching my team in live sporting events. They're all recorded, so if we win, I'll go back and watch them immediately. And if we don't, that's it. I don't stress myself over a loss. So, with that in mind, let's segue into sane and reasonable sports fans. And what every sane and reasonable sports fan wants is relevancy. Now, I know there's always going to be contingency of fans that are going to say, well, we have to win it every year, and if we don't win it every year, then that season's a failure. And I get that. I get that mentality. I do. And many fans have that mindset. But the reality is pretty clear. There's going to be one team left standing. One. And it's never going to be the same team every year, right? I mean, there have been great teams with great stretches. You look at the Celtics winning 8 straight NBA titles from 59 to 66. The Yankees have many decades of dominance. UCLA Hoops under Coach Wooden was very dominant in college basketball. Pains me to say, but the Patriots of Brady and Belichick had a good run as well. But you know, ultimately, dominance to that level, it's pretty rare. So ultimately, if you can look back at the season and see that your team was a factor, was relevant among the slew of teams competing for it all, well, I mean, you've had a pretty good year. And relevancy is really what we're talking about today because it's important for sports fans, but it's even more important on the business level, on the branding level. This includes clients of law firms. It includes patients of dental practices, chiropractors, and more. And I mention those categories specifically because relevancy is a tough nut to crack in those categories. When your sector is not exactly ripe to gain instant relevancy in the market, when your category is more of a need to rather than a want to for the consumer, or a have to buy rather than I'm excited to buy type of decision, that makes relevancy very tough. And that creates a challenge for those that fall into those type of categories. And I've been at this for a while, more than 30 years. I've worked with many brands on many points of the branding spectrum. And I've done so with one formula in mind, and I've used that formula to get prosperous results. And that formula is threefold. The first is, and I've mentioned this is not the secret sauce, I've mentioned this in many other posts, but that formula is distinction. You have to stand out from the other players in the market. 2, cultural relevance. You have to stand out in a way that truly matters to people's lives, that can truly impact their lives. And that's a big component of this. And finally, continuity from touch point to touch point. Use similarly focused messages that present brand congruence as consumers are exposed to maybe a Facebook ad or a TV ad or a radio commercial or whatever the case may be. There's that framework in place that creates that continuity from touch point to touch point. Now, each of these three are vital in terms of building a successful and profitable brand. One aspect typically feeds the next and helps you create a branding force. Otherwise, you've essentially got a branding farce. I mean, if one of those components is missing, that's what you're going to end up with. I mean, you might think that standing out is the most important thing, and it is a very important cog in the wheel, so to speak. But at the same time, if you're standing out in a way that doesn't truly resonate with the consumer, or if your creative messaging lacks familiarity from touch point to touch point, then you're not going to, over time, build a successful brand. So how does your law firm overcome that struggle of relevancy in the marketplace? How do you spark that connection with the consumer in a meaningful way that's going to help you build a successful brand in the marketplace, that's going to help the phone ring, that's going to help the contact forms come in and book appointments and get cases started and new files opened and all of that good stuff in a category that flies under the radar for the most part? I mean, relevancy is a challenge in the category. A bankruptcy attorney, for instance, is pretty much unnoticed if the prospect's finances are in order. A personal injury attorney flies under the radar until someone has a wreck and gets roughed up unfairly by the insurance company, or a family law firm sparks little relevancy when you don't yet know your spouse is cheating on you, right? So and all that's true. All that makes relevancy a challenge in the legal category. But I mean, it might be pointed out, well, hey, if I'm an attorney and my prospect has a wreck, then I am relevant. That's the only time I need to market to them. If my client finds out their spouse is cheating on them, then I can use Google Ads and hit them when they're searching my category, when I'm at the utmost peak of relevancy. And yes, absolutely, digital marketing is a vital component for most marketing mixes in this category. True, but I guess the question becomes, who's going to get those clicks? Is it the firm that's already gained familiarity with their prospect, or the firm that's waiting for that prospect to move into the bullseye before they start the challenge of building a brand? And branding is tough when you're exclusively looking at the digital realm, just from a standpoint of space allotment alone. So it quickly becomes a question of who's going to win those clicks. Is it the firm that's already created a distinctive, relevant brand identity, whose continuity is present from touch point to touch point? Or is it the firm that's going to begin to market to that consumer when relevancy hits their particular situation? I mean, if a prospect is searching car wreck attorney and they reveal 2 listings on Google Ads, and their response to the first listing is, oh yeah, that's the firm that stands for XYZ. And the other firm gets a reaction of, I don't know anything about them. Who do you think is going to get the clicks? It's going to be that firm that is familiar with the prospect. So familiarity is vital. So it kind of makes it equally vital to enter the consumer's marketing sphere via relevancy before they enter the center of the marketing bullseye. And that's the question we're addressing today. Answering that question has always been a focal point because it is such a key element to the branding process. And there are a lot of ways to achieve relevancy. But the key is finding out what matters, what truly matters to your target audience. And you know, what we have found most helpful in trying to figure that out is just to do a deep dive with them. Personal interviews, focus groups within that category may touch on some privacy issues, so we do personal interviews with past clients to do a deep dive into their experience with the firm. learn more about what matters to them within their relationship with the firm and outside of that connection with the firm. And it helps us identify some areas that we can tap into to be more relevant in the marketplace. It helps us really develop a model, if you will, that is easily projected into the market to find similar prospects through a variety of marketing strategies. And BrandVision Marketing is a full-service agency, so I don't care where the money goes, whether it's Facebook ads, Google ads, TV, I don't care. TV, radio, it can be any slew of marketing media, and we work with them all. As long as it's accomplishing the goals set out by the firm. So that's the main thing for us. And then, we're able to speak to this similar profile prospect through a variety of means to gain that valued brand familiarity. That relevance comes into play within the category. A lot of different strategies we've used over the years, whether it's using an adored local sports celebrity as an endorser, whether it's connecting with a local charity, a charity that we found to be very relevant to the target audience, or maybe we're personifying the brand through a spokesperson who is relatable, who is likable, who is seen as that wise confidant. We've used all those, and there are so many more available just from what you're going to learn from just talking to past clients. So relevance is vital for sports fans, whether you watch sporting events live or not, like me, or business owners, and especially managing partners for law firms. So gain relevance in your marketplace in any of those tough categories, but certainly the legal one, and successful follow. Thanks for watching this edition of Brand Boost from BrandVision Marketing, and look forward to talking to you soon.